Welcome back, Mr. Draymond Green. He plays for the Golden State Warriors today, but the show was stolen. The valor stolen by the wings today. Andrew Wiggins was awesome. Moses Moody was incredible in the playing time he got. Let's talk about a Golden State Warriors win. A little too close for comfort against the Orlando Magic, but they get the job done.
Who can stop Steph Curry?
Hopefully we'll never find out.
There's not many defenses in the world that can stop him.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yo, what is the good word, everyone? Welcome into Chase Center live. Not boots on the ground. I couldn't figure out a way to stand up my laptop on a chair down there, so we're up in section 121 right now, talking about a Golden State Warriors win, 104-99 over the Orlando Magic. This is Locked On Warriors, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Super Bowl 59 is here, and there's no better way to make every play more exciting than with the FanDuel Sportsbook. New customers can bet just $5, and if you win, you'll score $200 in bonus bets. Download the app or head to FanDuel.com to get started. My name's Charlie Walter. You can find the show wherever you get your audio podcasts and on YouTube. My credentials, formerly at 95.7 The Game, the flagship station of the Golden State Warriors in the Bay Area. Also covered the team for CBS News Bay Area. Typically used to coming to these games in a suit and tie. I've traded out for the podcasting equipment, shoulder over a railing, just chilling, talking about a Warriors win that was anything but a thing of beauty. Second half, there were some moments that were actually pretty exciting, specifically the play of Moses Moody. But the first half was disgusting. It was 43-43 at halftime, and specifically it was the first quarter that was an abomination. Golden State shot at just 5 of 23 from the floor, 21%. They were 2 for their first 14 from deep. That's good for 14%. And they were down 26-18 at that point. But one thing was a constant all game. It's their wings were attacking. Whether it was Andrew Wiggins or whether it was Moses Moody, every single time they had the ball in their hands, they were doing something with it. Moody, a little inside out. He was getting the job done. There was one where he contorted his body towards the bucket, maybe even a couple, to where he just spun him up and in. And then also did some damage from deep. Moody was 3 of 5 from three-point range. Wiggins struggled from deep, just 1 of 5 in the game, but did go 7 of 14 overall. Andrew Wiggins is at his best when he's attacking. We all know that. Typically, you can correlate how well he's playing with his work on the glass. Usually when he has 7-8 rebounds, it correlates to a good night in the box score stat sheet overall. Today wasn't the case. Just a couple of rebounds, couple assists. But 25 points in the game to lead the way for Golden State. And then Moses Moody chipped in 17 points off the bench in his 24 minutes. And what I really wanted to see, because Moody, I think it was the halftime interview on NBC Sports Bay Area based off seeing it from up here, and he had a really good first half. I wanted to see if that meritocracy that Kolsky and I talked about before the season would come into play. The fact that Moses Moody was playing better in the game than Buddy Hield. Would he get those minutes in the second half? And he did. I mean, kudos to Steve Kerr there, realizing that and letting Moody stay on the floor for 24 minutes. Still a little light, in my opinion, with the way he was playing. I mean, he was awesome. I would love to see it carry over to the next time the Golden State Warriors hit the floor on Wednesday. I'd love to see some more of Moses Moody. I think since he's come back from the injury, both him and Pods, but tonight it was specifically Moody, they have been awesome for this Dubs team. Some other exciting things to talk about. Welcome back, Draymond Green. First time we've seen him in over 10 games. He plays 29 minutes, 2 of 4 from the floor, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 points, a +9 overall. Typical numbers that you would expect from Draymond Green. And he did his job out there. Quentin Post, again, gets another start. 2 of 5 from the floor, knocks down a 3. One of them that capped off an 8-0 Golden State Warriors run in the second half that really gave them some wiggle room and put them on top for, I want to say, good. But I think the Magic may have taken the lead down the stretch. No, they tied it. They tied it late in the game. as we will get up the play-by-play to kind of tell you how this thing went down late. It was 104-99 the final, but two things really stuck out. One, this game was way too close for comfort because the Magic couldn't hit anything, and that bleeds into the second point, is that the Orlando Magic aren't very good. 24-27 on the season. I had not watched much Magic. I had not really looked at their record entering the game. I just assumed they were above average. And this is the first time that I really looked at them. And obviously they don't have Jalen Suggs, and saw how bad they've been this season. They're now 9-18 on the road. They're 4-12 against Western Conference opponents. So this was one that you had to win. You had to win. And Golden State, fortunately, was able to get it done. But like I said, a little too close for comfort. Golden State was up 82-67 entering the fourth quarter. 15-point game. I'm sitting up in the media row eating my ice cream, chilling. Good to be back, boots on the ground. Did not think that this was going to be a close game down the stretch, and then they just kind of crept back into it. Slowly but surely. 6-point game with 9 minutes left as Franz Wagner knocks down a 30-footer. Franz just went off in the second half. He led the way for the Orlando Magic in the game, and you would not have thought it based off what he did in the first half. He was just non-existent, and then down the stretch ended up with 20-plus points in this game. So he hits the three there to go up or to pull it within 6 points at 86-80. Then a 2-foot little tip shot there, 86-82. That was Wagner again. And from there, I mean, it was just kind of back and forth until Cole Anthony hit a floater with 4:58 to go to tie the ball game up at 90. So the Magic did take the lead. 4:27 to go in the game. Cole Anthony hit a pull-up shot to go up 92-90 in the game. Now, it was short-lived because Andrew Wiggins responded about 45 seconds later with a basket of his own to tie it up at 92. Then maybe the play of the game, Kevon Looney, a tip down low, got his paw up there out of nowhere, and did what Looney does, a timely bucket down the stretch. Usually it's a timely rebound or something. There was a play in the first half, you know what I'm talking about here, where Looney had 4 rebounds on one possession, but did not get the basket from it. He tipped it up 4 times, and I was looking at the Jumbotron. He was at 7 rebounds at the time, and it went 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm like, did he just get 4 rebounds on that lone possession and not put the ball in the bucket? Come on, Kevon. But he did it late when it mattered with 2:53 to go. And then from there, it was Draymond Green. He had a little floater driving right in the lane, flicked it up, rolled around the rim and in. He was fired up, giving everyone some chest bumps as he went to the bench. That was with 1:44 to go. Wagner then hit a floater to bring it within 2, and that is where our fearless leader, or I guess our fearless youngster, Moses Moody, comes into play. A corner 3 off the assist from Kevon Looney to give the Warriors a 99-94 lead, give them a little cushion. Steph Curry hit some free throws down the stretch, and that is all she wrote as the Warriors get the, I don't want to say big win, but a much-needed win, 104-99 over the Orlando Magic at Chase. We got a ton to talk about on the show today. Crazy weekend in the NBA has involved the Golden State Warriors in terms of, I guess, talk and chatter, but in terms of headlines or anything that has actually happened, nothing. The Warriors look the exact same as they did a week ago. So we're going to continue the conversation on that and look into the box score a little bit deeper as Warriors didn't play great, didn't shoot the ball great, just 30% from 3 and 43% from the floor, but they do get the job done taking down the Magic. Let's continue the conversation. That's coming up.
Forget that. We champs. Why are you starting with that question? We got 4 championships.
Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Super Bowl 59 is here. It's one game. It's 2 teams. It's endless possibilities, and there's no better way to make every play more exciting than with the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Whether it's predicting the first touchdown, calling the MVP, betting on the coin toss, Gatorade color, you name it, FanDuel makes it easy to get in on the action. With live betting all game long, you can adjust your bets as the game unfolds and feel the thrill from kickoff to the final whistle. The live betting feature lets you stay involved no matter what happens on the field, and the app is super easy to navigate. Plus, knowing that you can place a $5 bet and potentially win $200 in bonus bets in the Super Bowl is icing on the cake. So download the app or head to FanDuel.com to get started. Bet just $5. And if you win, you'll score $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Bet with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 59. It's Chiefs, and it is the Eagles.
I don't give a damn about no damn Drake night.
All right, so news and notes that I took down from the game today. And the big thing, obviously, the notes that I took down were just surrounding the NBA as a whole, because that's the massive storyline right now. We want to figure out what is going on with Golden State, what the direction is moving forward, and if this is once again going to be another season where the deadline comes and goes, nothing happens, and the Warriors head into the offseason talking about their star hunt once again. We'll get into that, but I just want to talk about the beginning of this game and how ugly it was, in a consistent theme that has surrounded Golden State this year. And it's just the three-point shooting. It's been feast, it's been famine, it's been nothing in between. And sometimes we get it in the same game, right? Like today, they start off 2 of 14 from three. They end the game shooting 30%, so they knocked down some shots late. Even Dennis Schroeder stepped into the mix and knocked down all 3 of his three-point attempts in the game. The Warriors as a whole from three-point range wasn't a thing of beauty by any means, but they did knock down a lot of them by the end of the game. A little bit of everyone that got involved. 12 of 39 from deep on 25 assists in the game. Podziemski knocked down 2 of his 4, Moody 3 of his 5, Schroeder all 3 of his. Buddy Hield once again 0 for 2 in 19 minutes, just 4 points in the game. Would love to see some of these minutes start going to Podziemski and Moody. 24 and 21 from Podziemski. Let's see them over 30. Let's see Hield at about 15. I'm a big fan of the meritocracy. Play the guys that are playing best, and pretty consistently it has been Moses Moody and Brandon Podziemski over the last 3 weeks of this season. Start playing them more. I'm all for it. Steve Kerr was actually asked before the game, why not bring Buddy off the bench? See if he can get going off the bench, put Moses into that starting lineup. And his answer was simply, Buddy's a threat. And in this game, it's a threat in the realm of 1 of 4, 0 of 2, 4 points in the game. Curry struggled shooting, 7 of 21, 2 of 12 from deep, but does go 8 of 8 from the free throw line, 24 points in the game. Curry struggled shooting the ball lately, struggled scoring the ball lately. It's been a minute since he scored 30. Before today, it had been a minute since he'd scored 23 and a half, because I know this because the PrizePicks that I put together today, easy win, folks. An official sponsor of Locked On Warriors. Get in on the PrizePicks and pick the over-unders. But got that with Curry today and the 24 points in the game. So overall, not the greatest shooting night in the world, but the Warriors did pick it up after a really sluggish start. They did lose the effort on the glass, 52-44 in the game today, but that's something that Orlando can do. One thing that the Magic can't do is score the basketball. Without Jalen Suggs, they just do not have enough firepower. Wagner led the way with 21, Paolo Banchero, 18 points in the game, 26 for Cole Anthony, who was letting them fly, man. 11 of 21 from the floor. But aside from those guys, Wendell Carter, 6 points. Jonathan Isaac had a bucket. KCP, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, 9 points. The Magic brought him in to be a sharpshooter, and his career 39% three-point percentage is down to, I think, 30% on the season. So he struggled there, and they don't have what it takes, man. It's as simple as that. They're like the Houston Rockets without the good players, that the amount of good players that the Houston Rockets have. But that's what it was like watching them offensively today. And the difference is the Rockets, they put themselves in good positions to get easy buckets. The Magic, it was a lot of firing away in the game today and a lot of missing. Just 8 of 32 from three, 25% from the floor today. So not a thing of beauty by any means. Other news and nuggets from that first quarter. Andrew Wiggins passed Chris Mullin for 7th most made threes in franchise history. Nice. Andrew Wiggins is very slept on. That was a note that I put in there. He just consistently this season, he consistently brings it. And when I talk about trades and how the Warriors would potentially have to involve Andrew Wiggins, I've teeter-tottered. I've gone back and forth. I've said this and that. Look, I'm glad that they didn't go after LaVine if it would have costed them Wiggins, because they would have given up a lot of defense in order to get LaVine on the team. I don't want to say Andrew Wiggins is untouchable, because if Kevin Durant is actually in the mix, you're trading Andrew Wiggins for Kevin Durant. You're trading Andrew Wiggins for, the Giannis's of the world, these guys that could at some point in time potentially become available. But aside from that, I mean, there's no rush to move on from Andrew Wiggins. You have him on a team-friendly deal, and he is playing incredible basketball right now. But yeah, notes, first quarter, disgusting. I mentioned it. 1 of 10 from 3 to start. 10 of their first 16 shots were from 3. And that's something that I'd love to see the Warriors do a little less of when they're not knocking down the three-point shot. Quit chucking them up. But we know this. This is their identity. Has been for a long time. It is what they are going to do. And they don't really have another option. I mean, they don't have a big man to get it down to in the paint that's going to score inside. It's drive, it's kick, it's shoot threes. That is what they are until they, potentially go out and get Vooch. That's a name that they've been talking about. Then he gives you a little bit of a presence down low. But as of now, not so much. Did find it interesting that Trace Jackson Davis was a did not play coach's decision in the game today, along with Lindy Waters and Kyle Anderson. Those two make a little more sense. But Trace Jackson Davis, who's getting ready for the Rising Stars Challenge in the NBA All-Star Game, was overseas for the Olympics. All this momentum in his game, and it's now turned into, a did not play in a pretty big, crucial game in the regular season. Another guy that really didn't get the minutes in the game today, Guy Santos, just 2 minutes. They were in mop-up time, and a large reason for that can be pointed to the reemergence, or I guess the return, of Draymond Green, who, brings you what Guy Santos does from an energy and from that perspective. But, yeah. Let's talk about what the Warriors are going to do moving forward. Hop in the chat. We will discuss. I will get to some of these comments, and we'll talk about the NBA trade deadline and whether the Warriors will actually make a move, as we have 3 days. I may as well at this point just camp out at Chase, see if there's any breaking news that's going to happen, and then I'll be boots on the ground for the breaking news. But we may be waiting for a long time, and by long time, I mean months, because I am starting to lean towards the notion that nothing is going to happen. Let's discuss. Coming up.
Who cares how I feel? It's about winning basketball games.
The show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Some relationship green flags. We often hear about red flags that we should avoid, but what should we focus on identifying in the positive signs of relationships, the green flags? If you're not sure what they look like, therapy can help you identify them. Actively practice them and even embody that green flag energy yourself. Whether you're dating, married, building a friendship, or just working on yourself, therapy's good stuff. It can help you form relationships that love you back. BetterHelp makes it easy, offering online therapy with over 30,000 licensed therapists to choose from. And if you need to switch therapists, you can do so at no extra cost. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA.
Who can stop Steph Curry?
Hopefully we'll never find out.
What I find so interesting about this entire trade deadline and what the Warriors are doing right now is that it feels like they are not settling on the Bulls package that we had talked about, the Vucevic's of the world and the Zach LaVines. I thought LaVine would have been a nice fit, but like I said earlier, if it involves giving up Wiggins, it does somewhat feel like a lateral move, unless your plan was to slide Kuminga into Wiggins' position, re-sign him, and then all of a sudden you have your starting shooting guard that can pack a punch, they can put the ball in the bucket, and you're really handing Wiggins or Kuminga Wiggins' keys to play that small forward position. But no, they do not go with that. And the reason why, per Anthony Slater, that the Warriors did not opt to trade for Zach LaVine is they are pursuing bigger names. bigger names than a guy that scores 24 points per game, is an all-star, has like a 45-inch vertical, and puts the ball in the bucket at an elite clip this season. I'm talking 44% from three. Yes, bigger names. And that name that right now is on Warriors fans' minds is a very familiar one. It's Kevin Durant, and it has, granted, I said this about Zach LaVine. Granted, I said this about Lauri Markkanen. Granted, I said this about Paul George. Granted, I'm sure someone else hosting this show said this about Giannis. Granted, someone said this about Karl Anthony Towns. We've said this for a long time now. And the biggest move we've gotten is Dennis Schroeder. But that name's Kevin Durant, and it has some legs. Zach LaVine is the only of the four big names traded this weekend that was on the Warriors' realistic radar, and to some in the organization, a preferred target over Jimmy Butler. But those that pull the ultimate levers at the top, a.k.a. Mike Dunleavy, Joe Lacob, Kirk Lacob, opted to let the sped-up LaVine option pass in pursuit of loftier ambitions. And that loftier ambition is bringing Kevin Durant back to the Bay. It would probably involve a package of Jonathan Kuminga. How do the Suns feel about that right now? Well, they're not shopping Kevin Durant, put it that way. But they're taking calls. They're listening. They're wondering what they can potentially get for him. And it's not a 100% impossibility. Let's put it that way. Should you put your money on it? Absolutely not. Don't do that. Stick to PrizePicks instead. But it would be fun. Who's to say no? It would be fun. And the ultimate plan, and I talked to some people at the arena tonight, and they seem to think that there's actually a 1% chance this happens. I'd put it at more like 0.003, is the Warriors are seriously looking to build a big three. And it's been a while since we've had a big three. I mean, it's been since Bosh, Wade, and LeBron since we'd have something like this if it were to happen. But it's that the Warriors are seriously looking for a way to bring both LeBron James and Kevin Durant to the Bay Area, to partner them with Steph Curry, to get that Team USA, to get the senior citizens, at least in terms of basketball age, one final run in an NBA championship playing together. Seems like an impossibility, but until the sixth, you never know. And obviously, if one domino falls, like let's say Kevin Durant were to be traded to the Golden State Warriors for that package we talked about with Kuminga, and you need to throw either Draymond or Wiggins in there to make the money work, and then draft capital, expiring contracts, whatever it is to match everything up. If that were to happen, there's a chance LeBron James could opt out of that contract next season with that player option and head to the Bay. I mean, that's the most likely way that all three of them would be playing together. I think it would be a next year type thing rather than this year. But again, everyone, it's wishful thinking. I am not a delusional human being. I am not going to get my hopes up on it. Honestly, this kind of feels like for those San Francisco Giants fans out there, feels like a Farhan situation right now, right? Maybe Arson Judge will be in the Bay Area, or it was Shohei, it was Judge. The Giants land Carlos Correa. He fails a physical. No more Carlos Correa. Let's re-sign Austin Slater. I mean, that's kind of what this is starting to feel like. Just because it's the boy who cried wolf. It's the Joe who cried wolf. At this point, Joe Lacob, Mike Dunleavy, not as much Dunleavy, but Lacob, he's been talking about this for a minute now. How they are going to maximize Steph Curry's prime, how they are going to go out and they are going to find the star, whatever it takes. There have been stars available. Straight up. I mean, Karl Anthony Towns was traded this summer. I mean, would they have had a package to send to the Wolves to get Karl Anthony Towns? I don't know, but he was available. Zach LaVine, he's on the Sacramento Kings right now. Like, that was something that could have been a possibility had they wanted to pull the trigger there. And then you hear about the Lakers going behind the scenes and really proving to the trades are hard crowd that trades are indeed possible if you find a team that is willing to move on from a star and that just doesn't feel like it's the right fit. In this example, I would point to New Orleans as having two potential stars, only one that I'd want, that you could reach out to and see if you can get something done behind the scenes. But, you know, it is what it is right now for Golden State. I don't know. It doesn't seem like they're going to do anything. That's how I feel in this situation right now. I think Vucevic is the most likely name that pops up. But again, the 5th is the date that really stands out and that is, I'm doing the math here. That would be Wednesday is the date that really stands out as moving day for all the golfers out there. Moving day for the Golden State Warriors, because that is when Dennis Schroeder's contract becomes eligible to ship at $13 million. With the way he's been playing for Golden State, it just seems like an easy contract to move. Doesn't make a ton of sense for the Warriors right now. You bring Pajemski back, that is another ball handler that can help out in that aspect, and you brought in Dennis Schroeder to provide a punch. They brought him in after the Warriors had failed to score, any points down the stretch of games over the course of like 2 straight weeks. They finally bring in Schroeder. Enough is enough. And that's not something he's been given the Warriors. He scores 9 points today on 3 3-pointers. So if that's the case, you may as well see if you can flip that contract for something. And the fact that the Warriors have expiring deals in Kevon Looney and Gary Payton, even if you want to bring them back next year because you feel like they are a part of the Warriors' identity, you have to trade them now. We are at a point in time where expiring contracts are so valuable because teams want to get rid of overpaid players and hit the reset button. There are so many teams out there that would take on expiring contracts, and the Warriors have a couple of them. They have 3 of them. They have $31 million in 3 players, in Schroeder, in Kevon Looney, and in Gary Payton. You have to use that to your advantage. Now, I know that the talking point is in the offseason, if they can't get anything this deadline, they're going to get back into the star hunting game. Look, I've checked out the free agency for next offseason, and I get a lot of things change. I get that players want to be traded, but I mean, let's just pull this up for you. It's not the most exciting free agency list in the world, especially when you're talking about young talent, because that's what I'd want. I either want young talent or I just want superstars that can come in and make this final run for Steph Curry a fun one, aka Kevin Durant. A reunion would be a fun time. I don't think there's a single person in the Bay Area that would say, that wouldn't be very exciting. Would they be great? Would they win an NBA championship? Would it be a wise move for their future? You can debate all these things, but you cannot debate that would not be electric television. And what we saw tonight was not electric television. I mean, struggling to a win over the Magic and almost blowing the lead down the stretch, struggling to score the basketball. It wasn't a thing of beauty, but the names in NBA free agency this offseason, I mean, it's LeBron James with that player option. It's Jimmy Butler. It's Fred VanVleet. It's Kyrie Irving, and it's Ben Simmons. I mean, those are your 5 highest paid guys that would be available. Then it's Harden. It's Ingram. It's Chris Middleton. It's Julius Randle. It's John Collins and Brooke Lopez. It's Clint Capella, who actually, would be a decent get for the Warriors, considering they do need some size there. Malcolm Brogdon, Bruce Brown, Miles Turner, another decent get. Lonzo Ball, if you wanted to get a buy low candidate potentially that's looking to kind of earn his way back to a big payday and is still pretty young. But aside from that, there's not a ton that the Warriors would be looking at in terms of NBA free agents right now. Now, obviously, trades come about, players get disgruntled. If the move isn't there right now, then you don't force it. Like Jimmy Butler apparently wanted that extension, and that's the reason why he will not, one of the reasons why he will not be a Golden State Warrior, because he wanted a longer term extension, or I guess maybe the Warriors were willing to offer it. The report that's come out has basically said that Jimmy Butler would not sign an extension with Golden State, and that's why he is no longer in the conversation. That's smart, in my opinion. That's smart. You don't need Jimmy Butler for more than a couple of years, and you don't need to be paying him $50 million at age 36. That's just not smart business, in my opinion. What is smart business is actively being out there and actually trying to make a trade and not just picking up the phone and making some cold calls. I mean, we got to get some lunches here, Mike. We got to forget just the cold call. We got to get in. We got to network. We got to find some players that fit this Warriors system and go out and actively attempt to bring them into town. Who will those players be? I don't know. It sounds like as of right now, it's just star hunting. It's not that $25 million guy that may be in a not great situation right now and a team's looking to move on from him. That's not what it sounds like. It sounds like the Warriors are just hitting up every team about their all-stars. Hey, is this guy? I mean, Mike may have cold called the front office and said, hey, is Steph available? They're like, Mike, wrong team, brother. But I mean, at the end of the day, that's what the report said from Shams. He's hit up every team in the NBA about potential all-stars that could be on the move. So that's just the situation of where they stand right now. Will they actually get an all-star? All indications were from the reports that we heard that the Warriors were going to make a move on either Wednesday or on Thursday. I just don't know what that move would be. Will it be the Vucevic move and they just attach a protected first-round pick to the expiring contracts and bring in Vooch and have him for, this year and then figure out what they do with that second year on his contract over the summer? I don't know. I don't know how that much it helps you. I mean, he is a traffic cone on defense. And yes, the Warriors do need scoring. Yes, he helps you in that department. But I just don't know if that is the move to be made. I am hoping, best case scenario, there's something in the works right now that we have no idea what it is. It doesn't even need to be Durant. It's just some blockbuster move that brings in that next foundation of Golden State Warriors basketball. Because the thing is with the LeBron and KD move, if that were the 1 in 5 million chance that were to actually go down, is at least you have direction there, right? It's like, all right, we're going to ride this thing until the wheels fall off. And then at that point, we're hopefully going to have all our draft capital from 2027 on, because we're not going to trade that in any of these deals. And we're going to rebuild. We're going to go for one more championship and we're going to rebuild. But right now, it doesn't feel like there's a direction, does it? It just feels like, we're middle of the pack. We're out there hunting, but we're not going to make a serious move unless it, unless it's not too bold of a move and kind of falls into our lap. Like, trades are hard. They're hard because you got to make difficult decisions. You got to be bold. What do they say? Fortune favors the bold. If you want your fortune, if you want your NBA championship, you got to be bold here. And I just want to see some sort of direction, because as of right now, it's Curry and it's Wiggins. And the more I'm seeing Moses Moody, the more I think he can be a valuable part of this future on a team-friendly deal. I know I've waffled the opinions on him, and a lot of it's due to his playing time. I mean, when a guy's getting 9 minutes, 12 minutes in regular season games in a year where he just got paid, and in a year where you think he's going to kind of pop, you just assume as a viewer, as a spectator, as a fan, the coaching staff knows what they're doing. There's a reason why he's not playing here. And maybe he's not as good as we thought. But I'll tell you what, since he's come back from injury, Moses Moody has been extremely impressive. Once again today, 17 points for the Golden State Warriors. To the comments we go from LB. Thanks for tuning into the show today, LB. No one wants to deal with the Warriors. No one wants to help out the Warriors. That's for sure. But we've seen teams will deal with the Warriors. I mean, the Brooklyn Nets just did it about a month back for some second-round picks, sending Schroeder over. We saw the Wizards deal with them not too long ago, sending Chris Paul over for Jordan Poole. From Portola 45, get Naz Reid. I like Naz Reid's game. I don't know if the Wolves would be willing to send Naz Reid. That was a name that I brought up over the summer. I just like how he can stretch the floor, knock down threes. But that brings us back to Quentin Post. Like, the Warriors believe in Quentin Post. They're giving him some big boy minutes right now, and he's playing well today. I mean, there was a few times where he was running the offense down on the block. He's telling guys to move. He's like, get out of there, go that way, backing down on the post, making smart decisions, flinging it around. There was one play where he basically just took it to the cup and laid it in. It was nice. So Naz Reid did ball out today. Watch it be Zion we have. Too much says Tyrese Maxey would be sick. Maxey's a hell of a player, man. I don't know if the Sixers would be looking to send him anywhere. I like this. Red Black is one of our loyal viewers and everydayer. Appreciate you all who tune into the show every single day. And he says, we need to get Wiggs some help. Hope JK comes back soon. Red Black is a huge Wiggs guy. And rightfully so, man. Wiggins has been awesome. It right now is Wiggins and it's Curry's team. And unless you're trading Wiggins away for one of those stars, I agree. Like, bring in some help to surround Andrew Wiggins. Wiggins is going to give you 20 and I guess not 5 tonight, but he's going to give you 20 and good defense just about every single night. So that's where we stand. I'm going to do my best to stay here for as long as possible. We'll see when they kick me out tonight. I got about 1 more hour in me. So hopefully before the clock strikes midnight Pacific, I get some sort of a breaking news update on my phone and I can go live from the floor talking about the Warriors bringing in a big superstar. But most likely I'm just going to be sitting here eating Chase Center's delicious popcorn, eating soft serve, and sitting on my phone and updating the show because I do not think the Warriors are making a move in the next 24 hours. I think if it does happen, expect it to be on the 5th when Schroeder's contract becomes available. But yeah, from Portola 45, feels like Kuminga has been out for the whole season. He's been out for a while for an ankle that I thought was just going to be, 2-3 weeks. He'll be reevaluated. He'll be back. He has been out for a long time. But it's given other guys opportunities to step in there and show what they can do. I mean, specifically, we've learned a lot about Guy Santos, that he's a real NBA player, at least when depth is down. We've seen a little more Moses Moody because of it. We've seen we've really seen Wiggins kind of creep into the captain role. I mean, Wiggins is on the way out the door. Let's give you Wiggins' number over the last, let's not cherry pick. Let's just go 10 games. I mean, 17-point Wiggs is what we call him. 25 against the Magic, 17 against the Suns, 27 against OKC, 19 against the Jazz, 20 against the Lakers, 17 against the Bulls, 25 against Sacramento. He sucked against Boston. He only had 4 points. But before that, 31 against the Wizards, 24 against Minnesota, 20 against the Raptors. Wasn't good against Miami with 9, 18 against Sacramento, 24 against Memphis, 15 against the Sixers. This is someone that just about every single game this season has turned it on and has been excellent. And I'm a big believer of if something's not broken, don't fix it. Now, if you can get an upgrade, sure, you can attach Andrew Wiggins into a deal. I'm always looking to make the team more exciting, to make the team better. But again, the Wiggins for Levine, lateral move there, made sense positionally, I guess you could say, but the defense would have been much worse. It sounds like the Warriors are hell-bent on, Kevin Durant's value potentially, I guess, going down a little bit these next couple of days and maybe getting a deal done for Jonathan Kuminga. But here's the deal. That would require Andrew Wiggins too. Is Kevin Durant much better than Andrew Wiggins? Yeah, absolutely. He's much better. He's also a lot older and a lot more expensive. So that's just the name of the game right now. If you want good players, you got to be bold. Fortune favors the bold. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Chuck Walter from Chase Center, a little live edition. This is Locked On Warriors. We're free and available wherever you get your audio podcast. Once again, Warriors beat the Magic by 5 in a game that had an over-under total. Hold on, we got to give you this one on the way out the door. I know I said the Wiggins stats were the icing on the cake, but I got to give you this one. Because if I was seeing this correctly, it was one of the most absurd over-unders I have ever seen in an NBA game. 209. I thought I saw 188 before the game, but I guess that was the live line at halftime. But it was a 209, and obviously the under hit in this game. All right, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. Peace, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Locked On Warriors. We're here for you, fellas.